Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with WealthyTiffany.com, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get rid of debt. 80% of Americans are in debt right now. That is a huge number. And yes, some of that could be mortgage debt or other types of good debt, but nonetheless, 80% of Americans are in debt. And in 2017, a study was done to show that the typical American household carries an average debt of $137,063. That is a lot of debt. So if a lot of people are in debt and they have a high amount of debt, let's talk about how to pay off this debt. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps to follow to help you pay off your debt. So if you are ready to dive in, hit that like button and we're going to get started. All right, the first step to paying off debt is to actually stop increasing your debt. So you want to set a goal. I know I've said this numerous times, but have something you're working toward. So let's set a goal to not increase our debt anymore. After we have set that goal to not increase our debt anymore, then set your next goal to pay off a certain amount of debt by a certain date. We want to make our goals really specific and have a time frame on them so we will actually accomplish them. So get excited to pay off your debt and set a goal to pay off a certain amount, whether that is $1,000 in 90 days or I don't know, $20,000 in a year. Whatever it is that you want to pay off, then set that goal and write it down. And then keep it top of mind so that you can actually focus on that goal. This is actually how I have been able to accomplish so many things regarding my money. For example, if you saw my recent video about me paying off my mortgage early in less than half the time before I turned 40, then you'll know that I set a goal to pay off that mortgage by the time I turned 40. And if I hadn't set that goal, then I wouldn't have accomplished that. I would still have that mortgage and I would still be paying it down. So when you set a goal, that is what is at the top of your mind. It's always kind of on your mind and you kind of become obsessed with it, not in a bad way, not in a crazy way. That you're going to be doing things that are not appropriate or hurting others to accomplish your goals, but you're going to be so focused on that goal that the decisions that you make, you will start to think, okay, is this going to help me get closer to my goal or is it going to take me further away from my goal? And that's why I want to say, okay, I do not want to increase my debt anymore. I want to start paying that debt down and setting that really specific goal. So, if your friends are going out to eat and you're thinking, oh, that sounds fun, but is that going to help me pay off my debt or is it not? Then you can say, oh, it's probably not going to help me. So I should tell them, no, I'm not going to go out to eat this time, but hey, come over for a movie at my place after, or something like that. You don't have to deprive yourself of all of the fun things in life when you are paying off your debt, but you want to make sure that your priorities are straight. That if you really want to pay off your debt, then that is going to be your focus. And I don't want to oversimplify this process, but it's true. I have set so many goals in my life, and when I set that goal, I start to think in the back of my mind, okay, is this helping me to get closer to my goal or is it not? And I start to make decisions based on those goals. It makes a really big difference if you have something you are focusing on, because you can have other things start to fall into place just because you're focusing on this goal. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It really doesn't. So once you've set this goal, then let's move to step 2, which is to create a plan to pay off this debt. And there's 2 main ways to pay off debt. The first way is the snowball effect. And this just means that you are taking the debt that is the smallest debt that you have and you're paying that off first. So maybe you have a credit card with $200 on there. So that's your smallest debt. You want to pay that off first. And then once you pay off that debt, then you're going to take that payment you were making toward that $200 debt and put it toward your next smallest debt. So it creates that snowball effect, right? So you have maybe you were making, I don't know, a $20 payment toward that $200 debt. And since that's paid off, now you can move that $20 to your next highest debt. Maybe you have a medical bill that's $600. So now you're already making your minimum payment for that medical bill, and now you can add that extra $20 over to that medical bill and pay it down, and then create that snowball effect and do that with each of your debts. And the nice thing about this is when you pay off that debt, that really small debt, it really creates excitement about paying off your debt because you've paid off one debt already. And while this method may not be the most mathematical or practical way to pay off debt, we are emotional as humans. We have these emotions, and when we see ourselves paying off a debt, it gets us excited and it motivates us to pay off the next debt. So that's one way you can pay off your debt, is the snowball method. The second way is the avalanche method. The avalanche method means that you take your debt with the highest interest rate. Maybe you have a credit card that is 20% interest. So you take that debt and start to focus on paying that one off first. And this one will make the most sense mathematically because you'll be paying the least amount of interest on your debts as a whole if you are paying off the highest interest rate first. And then once you pay off that first debt with the highest interest rate, then you are going to take that payment you were making on that debt and move it to the next highest interest rate debt. And this one kind of creates that avalanche. So you take that largest one, pay it off, move to the next one downhill. So you have that avalanche. And it's increasing over time because you're paying that minimum payment you were paying on your first debt. Now you put that toward your second debt, and then once that's paid off, you put both of those payments toward your third debt, and so on. So it creates an avalanche effect. So you can choose the method that is going to work the best for you. If you need that motivation, that small win in the beginning to get you going, then the snowball method could be a great way for you to pay down your debt. And if you are more logical and practical and you want to pay the least amount of interest on your debts, then start with the highest interest rate first and then go down from there. And you can do a combination of both of these. Maybe you want a really quick win and you only have a few $100s on one of your debt. So you can take that and pay it off really fast and then move to the avalanche method. So it's entirely up to you. It's whatever is going to work for you, but set up a plan and stick to it. And another thing that is helpful with creating this plan is creating a debt elimination calendar. And this is really fun. You can list out all of your debts and you can put the balance on each one and then the interest rate on each one. So you can see very visually exactly how much debt you have. And then you can organize them in the way that you are going to pay them off. And you can also put in there the payment that you're making on each one. So if you're doing the snowball effect, then you would put that debt with the least amount at the top of your spreadsheet. And you can see, okay, I'm paying $20 a month on this one, so it'll be paid off in 5 months or whatever it is. And then you can move that $20 to the next debt and you can see, okay, I have this remaining balance. And if I'm already making my minimum payment for that and now I'm adding an extra $20 in 5 months, then this one's going to be paid off in X amount of time. And you can continue to go down and see your full calendar on when you'll be able to pay off the debt. And this also can get you even more excited because you can think, okay, how can I make a little bit extra money? What can I do to bring in a little more money to pay down these debts even quicker? Or maybe there's some expenses that I can cut back on, even if it's just for a few months, and then have those expenses again. Maybe it's a subscription you can pause for a few months and put that toward your debt. But just kind of seeing it visually helps you to see when you'll be able to actually pay off this debt, and you can think of ways to pay it off even sooner. And the third step to paying off your debt is to celebrate your wins along the way. When you pay off that first debt, then celebrate, get excited about it. And of course, don't celebrate in a way that is going to bring on more debt, but you can celebrate in different ways. For example, I really love to read books. So, if I accomplish something, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can totally celebrate by reading a new book. And it can be a book from the library. It doesn't need to be a book that I need to purchase to spend money on. And maybe, you have your favorite TV series that you love to watch. So once you've paid off a certain amount of debt, then you can binge watch your favorite TV series. It really depends on you and what is going to get you excited to pay off this debt as soon as possible. Or maybe you really like to go dancing. I love to go dancing, and there is a place that does free dancing. Well, they used to. Hopefully they'll open up soon again. But, you can treat yourself and go out dancing, and it doesn't have to cost anything. Or maybe you really like being out in nature, so you can just take a little weekend camping trip somewhere. But just celebrate your wins, because when you do that, you're going to be more excited and more motivated to pay off the next debt, to reach that next goal. It's really important that we are paying off our debt as soon as possible, because that means we're going to be paying less in interest on our debts, and we can become financially free even sooner. So let me show you just a quick example on how bad debt can really be if we aren't really focused on paying it down as soon as possible. I found this article on CNBC, and it's titled, "Here's what happens when you only pay the minimum on your credit card balance." And they are showing that an average household has a $6,081 balance on their credit cards. So in their graph, if you just make the minimum payment, you'll be paying over $4,000 on your credit card. And if you double the minimum payment, then you'll be paying over $1,500. And if you do your minimum payment plus just $100 each time, then you'll pay just over $1,400 in interest. And they take it one step further. So the length of time that it will take to pay off this credit card, if you make just the minimum payment, it is going to take you 169 months to pay this off, which is about 14 years of your life. And if you were to double that minimum payment, it's going to take you 65 months, which is about 5.5 years. So that is a lot better. But if you can do your minimum payment plus $100 each month, it will take you 41 months, which is about 3.5 years. That is much more manageable. So just think of ways that you can pay off your debt even sooner, because you will be so much better off and you will have a lot more peace of mind. And then you'll be able to focus on really building up your wealth instead of focusing on just paying off your debt. And as you're paying off this debt, you can look at it as that you are actually building your net worth. Because you don't want to get stuck in the mindset of, oh, I have so much debt, I'm never going to pay it off. If you're taking the approach of, you know what, I really want to build my net worth, become financially free, and this first step is to just pay off my debt. So let's set some goals, let's get this done, and I can increase my net worth over time to become financially free. So comment below if you already have a plan to pay off your debt, or if you are going to set up a plan today to get this debt paid off. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who needs to hear this information. And please hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will really help me out and we can get this content out to more people. And don't forget to hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And as a side note, if you are interested in getting 2 free stocks, Webull is doing a promotion. If you open a free account and deposit at least $100, you will get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. And then you can do whatever you would like with your 2 free stocks. Maybe cash that out and pay off some debt. I don't know, whatever you want. But if you are interested, I'll leave my referral link below in the description and you can click on that to get your 2 free stocks. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.